that.
What sort of certification would you look for? I guess he has to go and find a certifying body that helps, that includes life skills.
Remember that there's a ministry in England.
Oh.
England has a Ministry of Education.
Right.
When they say crap, everybody craps.
It's very centralized. Right.
They have exams that are put out by the ministry. How well you do on those exams determines where you go. If you do poorly, you're not going to Oxford or Cambridge or that kind. So they used to have the 11 plus exams. When you were 11 years old, you took a test. Nobody laughed at those tests, let me tell you. It meant your life.
Right.
And they had different high schools.
Based on those results.
Based on results.
Right. So if you became a very focused kid at age 13, but you hadn't been when you were 11, it's difficult to, it was difficult to switch.
It's not easy to switch. No. In their schools, they have math and science. By the time they get done with their gymnasium or whatever they call it in England now, they've got the equivalent of our community colleges.
Right. If you've survived
in that area that they chose.
Right.
There are high schools where you major in science. By the time you get done, you've taken everything in chemistry, for example, almost through organic chemistry.
Yeah. You can take the advanced placement exam and
but it's
get
all built in.
a year of college in the U.S. If you want to transfer it to U.S., you've already done that, all that material.
So it's, these kids are bright. The kids who go into their academic areas, they're bright kids. And this is true, by the way, also in Germany. In their gymnasiums.
Yeah. But it's not 100% of the kids that are in it.
No.
Yeah, right.
No.
That's the brilliance of their system, I think.
Well, it's the brilliance of their system, only the kids are cut off at a much earlier age group than our kids.
The deficit is they lose the kids that maybe are slow developers but still are bright.
Well, that's why when they say we're 25th, you're comparing. It's not quite comparing apples to apples. We have a different goal set. Mm-hmm. They got a goal set too. All kids have to graduate high school, but not the high school.
Right.
So it's a little different in the preparation for the examinations that they give in the world kind of comparisons. Not every kid in our high school in math graduates with calculus, but we do have quite a few who graduate with calculus.
They're just reporting 100% of the kids that they are reporting on have calculus.
Have calculus.
Right.
The ones who take the math tests come out of that kind of school.
Right.
So it's a little different. And I'm not saying we're better or worse. I'm just saying it's different.
If you walked into a school and were asked to evaluate the appropriateness of a project-based curriculum, what criteria do you look for?
Well, I would walk around a classroom and I'd see, one, whether they were all on the same page, if the classroom was operating that way. That's what I did in Palm Beach when I visited the school that was technology driven. When I was on the examining committee for Betty Castor when she was Commissioner of Education. I walked into school and I didn't know what the classroom was. It was a language, Spanish. But there were computers. There was the computer lab. I walked in and I looked around and I waited and waited. Every kid started on on the same screen. So what I learned that this is just augmenting what's going on in the classroom, and in the classroom is not the computers. There's a lab.
So you could see some kids who were bored to tears or fidgeting because they'd already read it and they were ready to move on, but
they may not have read it, but it came out of a curriculum where they went into the lab. The classroom teacher, the person in the lab was like a technical person. The kids came in, they went to a certain page in the computer, and that's what they started to work at.
And so,
Story.
if the fast kid, did he have an option to go do something else?
No, the fast kid finished that, and then he played with the computer while the other kids were waiting. It was a 30-minute, 40-minute class, and that's what they did. So they had an assignment to go to the computer lab and read this, and they did. But it wasn't what I expected, because I didn't get there the first day of class. So what that told me was the classroom teacher has so much many hours during the course of a month that our kids can go maybe once a week. That particular class goes into the lab for a half hour or 45 minutes, and her job is to integrate the lab into what she's doing in the classroom.
So she gets points for using technology as a tool, but forgets to employ its advantage for differentiation.
There is no differentiation.
Right. And so you're looking for that.
Except in terms of the kid's ability.
And you're looking for differentiation when
I'm
you see.
looking to use that tool so that kids are operating as individuals or small groups. So if I walked in a class and language is not fair, because language is one of those things I always was at the bottom of the group and I barely got through the goddamn stuff. But if you go into a math, in September they might all be on the same page. But even under the old system, by the time it came to December, there was a differentiation already.